only move on to the future by leaving the past behind you. Hey guys, my name is Kimberly. Welcome to my channel. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you do, make sure to like and subscribe because I'll be posting more. So honestly, I'm not entirely sure how to start this video because there's kind of a lot that I want to go over, but I guess we'll just start frank. Move on. It's time to move on. And I'm partially making this video because I need this advice myself. I feel like I'm always telling people so good advice. Like I'll be like giving superstar advice and I'm like, do this, like, I will be pouring my heart out with wisdom. And then I don't use it. And it's bad because, like, why am I telling someone to do something, like, and not doing it? That's hypocrisy. But that's not what this video is about. So, I mean, I guess the term move on could be used in many different ways. Like, okay, we could be talking about a couple things here. We could be talking about moving on from past decisions, past people, past whatever. Let's start with past people because I know this is a big thing for so many people. I myself have people that I'm like, oh, I miss this person. Like, I wish I could talk to this person again. And I know I'm not the only one. I have a bunch of friends that are like the same. So I think we should set this clear. You have to move on. You can't move on with your life if you don't move past from the past. You can't move on with your life if you don't let go of the past. You can't be stuck on something or someone that happened. It doesn't even have to be years ago. Like, it doesn't have to be past. It could just be a month ago. Like, something that happened a month ago that could still be bothering you, or a person, maybe if you went through a breakup, there's someone that you broke up with a month ago, you have to move on from them. If you broke up for a reason. Even if you ended on good terms and you guys are friends, that's great. You know, that's obviously the ideal way to end a relationship, but you still have to move on. You can't be attached to this person and expect you to find someone else that can make you feel happy if you're still stuck on the way that this one person made you feel. You know, like, I get it completely. There's this guy that I haven't, like, we've talked on and off, but, like, I haven't completely, like, had a heartfelt conversation with him since 2023. November. Guys, it's April of 2025. And, like, see, that's just what I'm saying. Like, I felt an attachment to this person, and I just couldn't let him go, and I just couldn't find someone else that I was attracted to because I was stuck on this person. And that's the problem. Why are you stuck in the last chapter of your life? You have to finish writing the ending. The last sentence of this chapter should be, I moved on. You can't keep rereading the chapter and trying to rewrite it and hoping it'll work and just erasing it, because it won't. You can't change the past. You can only change the future, and you can only move on from what happened in the past by leaving the future in the... You can only move on to the future by leaving the past behind you. You know, you can't tell yourself that you're still in love with some boy, some girl, whoever it applies, like, to you. You can't tell yourself you still love them and then go out trying to find love, because you can't love two people in a romantic way at one time. You know, like, I feel like it's different with, like, a friend situation. Like, if you had a best friend that you, like, aren't friends with anymore, like, that happened to me. I was friends with this one girl for 11 years, actually. We ended up stopping friends. We're friends again now. We just needed some time apart. You know, we weren't good for each other at the time. We were both in rough places. We took a couple months apart from each other. We ended up reconnecting. Oh my, she just texted me. Oh. Anyways, we ended up reconnecting like 3 weeks ago, maybe a month ago or whatever, and it's been amazing. You know, it's great to have someone back in your life, but only if they're going to be good for you. Like, you can't go back to your toxic boyfriend or girlfriend who used to beat you and be like, oh, we can make it work this time. Like, I'm in a better place. That doesn't mean they are. Just because you have worked on yourself and you're ready to go back to someone doesn't mean they feel the same way about you. You know, it takes a different amount of time in people's lives to reach the same level of maturity. Like, I'm 16 and I have the equivalent of the maturity of like some 20-year-old men. Like, everyone matures at a different time, and you can't try to rush that. You can't be like, oh, okay, well, we're both 16, like, this is great, like, we're gonna work out, but you guys have different mindsets, different beliefs of what you think workout means, you know, like, some people might be focused on the fun of a relationship, other people might want the more serious part of a relationship. You have to find someone that you connect with. You have to find someone that you truly feel a bond with. You can't just go for looks or whatever reputation, status. You can't use that as what you're going off of. And I feel like I totally just like went on a whole rampage. This is not even talking about the past anymore. Oh my gosh. Well, free advice, guys. Okay, but back to the past. Now I'm gonna talk about like past situations, past experiences, past circumstances, whatever. Fill in the blank. Past, not people. Okay, so for my parents are very stuck in the past, hold a grudge type people. You know, they don't let the things that I do 3 years ago, they don't let that slide. They still bring it up to this day. And I know how it feels to think about it constantly because they're always talking about it. But that's a point in your life where you have to realize you are a different person. You are not them. They can keep bringing these things up. You need to tear it down. You need to leave it in the past. You need to say, okay, mom, dad, whoever's bringing it up, whatever, I get this affected you and it still affects you to this day, but you want me to grow from this. I want to grow from this. I want to move on. And I can't do that with you constantly shoving it back in my face. You know, like, you can't try to move on from something and try to, you know, not necessarily forget what you did, but you want to grow from it. You want to learn from your mistakes. You want to forgive. Forgive, but not forget. You know? One of those situations. Moving on from the past and starting a new future for yourself is a personal quest that you need to conquer. And that might sound cringy, cheesy, cliche, whatever, but it's true. Like, no one can tell you how to build your future. You need to decide that for yourself. You need to decide what parts of your past you want to let go, what parts you want to take with you, and you need to go from there. You need to start planning ahead instead of spending so much time focusing on things that happened in the past, people you were friends with in the past, people you dated in the past. They're not relevant anymore. They're in the past. Why are you putting them into your future when they're not there? That's just going to leave an open opportunity for you to try and add them back into your life when they might not want to be in your life, you know? Like, if we're talking about like a relationship again, if you guys broke up, again, there had to have been a reason. You guys just didn't say, oh, I love you, never mind, let's break up. Like, there's always a reason behind things that happen, and you may not like it, you may not agree with it, it may break your heart, but that's when you take the time to build on yourself, self-reflect. It may not have been your fault. Like, honestly, most breakups and stuff are two-sided, but sometimes it's like more of a one-sided thing, and it's like, you got a problem, you go on your own and fix it. And that's the time when you take to self-reflect and be like, did I do something? Can I grow from this? What can I do to improve myself for the future? Because we're not stuck in the past. This isn't 2020 anymore, okay? Like, this is 2025. We just need to move on. Like, just going back to the complete point of this video, moving on is the only way to continue your life and stop putting it on pause, because things from the past you can't change. You can't change things you did, you can't change things you said. You can only learn from those mistakes, grow from those mistakes, and move on from those mistakes. See how I keep saying move on? because you have to move on. You can't just ponder on what you could have done, what you should have done, what you would have done if you were in a different place, because you can't change it. You are wasting your time thinking about what you could have done differently when you should be thinking about what you can do differently. See what I'm saying? Like, there's a whole past tense, and then there's the present tense, and then there's the future tense. I don't know if that's a word, but like, like, if we're talking about idealistic things, like, I could have done this, I should do this, I can do this. You know, it's like, obviously you live in the moment. Like, don't just be looking 20 years in the future, oh, I want to get married and have 20 kids and live in a mansion. Like, focus on where you are right now, but also build those improvements that you've made in yourself, build those into the future. You know, I'm not going and saying, like, oh, start picking out what retirement home you're going to live at. You know, like, that's not the point. The point is you have to let go of what you've done to make yourself a better person. You can't sit back and think, oh my gosh, like, I got an F on that test, like, I should have studied, like, I can't believe I did that, I'm, like, so stupid, why didn't I study more, I could have gone in for extra help. Don't think about that. You know, like, if you can't, obviously if you can, like, okay, this was probably a bad example because you can usually retake tests, but if you can't retake tests, focus on how you can do better on the next one, you know? I can study more, not I should have studied more, I can study more in the next one. Everything from the past you can grow from. If you mess up in the past, don't make that mistake again. It's that simple. You have to analyze what you did and acknowledge what you did and apply that to your future and how you want to go about these situations next time they come about. You know, you can't just say, oh, bummer, I failed, gotta take summer school. Like, don't take summer school. It's actually so bad, guys. Like, live your life. Summer is like 2 months, if anything. Okay, that's besides the point again, but I guess just the whole message of this video is stop living life in chapter 1 and trying to fill in chapter 2, 3, 4, 5 and leaving all those pages blank because you're so stuck on chapter 1, you can't write what's next because you're only thinking about what happened. You don't want to write the next part of your future because you're attached to what happened in chapter 1 and you can't think of what else to fill in the pages with. You need to finish that chapter. I'm moving on. Flip the page, chapter 2. Here's what I'm going to do now. You can't keep telling yourself that what you did is all you could have done, yada, yada, yada. You could have maybe done more, maybe you couldn't have. But what you for sure can do is you can do more. It's not, I could have done more, it's I can do more. And I think I've said that like 5 times, so clearly it's a point. You can't just ponder on the past. You grow from it. Literally, what analogy was I trying to do? That would have made no sense. Just don't be stuck on the past. And I feel so repetitive saying this. Become a better person. Okay, you may have done some horrible things in the past, said horrible things. I have. We all have. You know, like sometimes we get mad or hurt and we just want to say something and either get back at a person or just you just have so much built up inside of you that like you just say whatever, and it can hurt you in other people's eyes. Like, the way that they look at you might be different, but that's when you need to obviously apologize, and apologies mean nothing if you do the same thing again. You can't tell someone, oh, like, I hate you, I wish you, and then be like, I'm sorry, and then go and say it again the next time you're mad, you know? Like, it just, if you genuinely want to move forward, you need to make an effort. You can't just tell yourself, oh, I might just try to be a better person, like, we'll see, and then just not put any effort to it and just keep doing the same thing you were doing in chapter 1. No, you need to make your changes, get yourself in check, and become a new person. It's obviously not going to be easy. You know, you have routines that you did, you have addictions maybe, you have just anything that could be keeping you as the same person you are, but you need to shed your skin off like a snake, but not like a snake that like people like, oh, she's a snake, like, ew, I don't like her, she's a snake. Not like that, like an actual snake, the reptile. You have to shed off your skin and become a new person, and it takes time. It's not like you're just gonna be a serial killer, wake up in your jail cell the next day and decide, I want to go help out in an animal shelter. Like, it's not gonna be like that, obviously. It does take time, and it takes effort, and it takes a good group of support, but you need to find good people and good habits that can help you put aside everything you've done, put aside people that you don't associate yourself with anymore, and you need to move on. Find new friends, find a new boyfriend, and you can't do this when you're still stuck on the old people. You can't give them your full heart. You can't give them all your time, love, and energy if you're still sharing that with someone else. You know, you can't have both. You have to choose one. And your choices are simple. You know, you have the person that you don't have in your life anymore. They don't want anything to do with you. You guys are done. Like, you don't have a relationship anymore. Or someone that's willing to come into your life, learn about you, you learn about them, you start a relationship with them, and you start over. And you can't start over if you're not done with the people in the past. So you have to be willing to put yourself out there. And obviously don't let your guard down. Like, I'm not saying like, oh, just go be naive. I forgot the word for a second. Don't just go be naive and be like, oh yeah, like, let's be besties. Like, obviously be smart about it. Get to know a person first. You can't just assume that they're a great person and be like, oh, okay, hey. Like, you can't do that. Okay, you have to make sure that you are obviously putting yourself in a good position. But my point is, you have to try. You can't go anywhere without trying and starting over. You have to be willing to leave the old part of you behind and find a new part with new people and doing new things. But yeah, that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed. Move on. I mean, if you guys do it, I will do it because I need to move on. Okay, like, you know, just make sure to keep your heads up, keep your smiles on, and just push through it, you know, like, you got this. It's not going to be easy, but I'm here for you. Your family's here for you. Everyone around you that loves you and supports you will be there for you through everything, and you just need to find those right people to do that. So I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time.